Hello, welcome back to the recap. My name is Angie. This is my husband, Tim. Morty's over here. And today we are recapping from the Diesel Barbershop.
Just coincidentally, the only barbershop in Texas with a polygamist barber. Just coincidentally, not in any way contrived.
My guess is that the producers concocted this scheme for Justin to have his hair cut here. So they made them drive 2 hours to go to this particular barbershop?
I mean, it's not like the haircut looked any different before or after, so that's probably it.
So let's get into the episode.
Yes.
Seeking Sister Wife, Season 5, Episode 8, Seeking the Unexpected. Let's start off with the Ryans.
If we have to.
We begin their segment with Becky having scheduled a hair appointment for Justin. He is about to go on his second date with Yary, a woman they met over a dating app. I was surprised that this was their second date. I don't know why the first one wasn't filmed.
Because this show sucks.
Maybe the woman had to be sure this was something she wanted to ruin her reputation for.
Yeah, maybe.
I need to know these people before I commit to my image being put out there for this storyline.
Oh my gosh.
At this point, as they're getting his hair done, Tim brought up a question when we were watching it. He asked, why do people pursue polygamy this late in life? Because the usual fundamentalist aspect is for one man to have as much children as possible, so he can have as much control as possible.
Yeah, and one of the things that people will say a lot is that it's about having friends.
Yeah, in this period of alienation and isolation, it appears that people will try to create more categories as an excuse so that they can befriend someone. In this case, have someone sleep with your husband / look for a sister wife.
Like, that makes more sense than anything else. We're living in a loneliness epidemic. So many people are alone and miserable, and the Ryans in particular feel that the solution to this problem is finding a woman to have sex with Justin and be friends with Becky. That's so sad.
That they have to go to this venue because, I don't know, they're incapable of just having a close platonic friend.
I mean, yeah, but it also speaks to their loneliness. That's so sad. I kind of feel sorry for them. These two people who just want to find a friend, but then are doing it in the dumbest way possible.
Just because this is self-imposed doesn't make it any less pathetic. The two of them go into the barber shop, and just like 2 episodes ago with Carla the florist, with the Salahuddins, the barber just nonchalantly ask him, what is he getting a haircut for? Why have they hired a camera crew to film this seemingly mundane task? They're doing what Sister Wives season 1 through 6 or whatever did, where they just ask, again, random people, what do you think of this lifestyle? Is this the first time you've cut a polygamist's hair before? Is this the first basket of flowers a polygamist has bought from you?
Have you ever sold pants to a man who regularly has sex with 5 women? This is not content. This is non-content. It's
Non-tent.
Non-tent. It's nonsense is what it is. And there's the bit where Becky says have you ever cut the hair of a polygamist before? And I never wanted to punch a camera.
So bad. Anyways, the barber finds out that they are trying to pursue a polygamist life. Because keep in mind, they aren't polygamist. They've been trying to do that for 2 decades.
They're failed polygamists.
The guy goes, that's awesome. But unfortunately, Justin says it's a slow go. This is when they introduce us to the woman that Justin is getting his hair cut for. They met her on a dating app. Her name is Yary. We see pictures of this woman. She is Latina. She looks to be their age.
Thank God.
One of the pictures we see her is, it looks like she's in 80s aerobic attire.
Mm-hmm.
Justin does say that, like Garrick, he is attracted to Latina/Arabic women because I'm assuming the Muslim woman from Michigan was Muslim, which has close ties to Arabic.
I know, just that's an interesting grouping.
I don't know why he chose those two ethnicities.
I don't know, maybe it's the dark hair, tan skin combo.
That applies to other ethnicities as well.
I mean, if these people made sense, then we wouldn't have to do this recap.
Justin describes his reaction to, I'm assuming, him being matched with Yary. He goes, I'm gonna sound superficial, but when I saw her pictures, I was like, whoa.
He really liked the aspect of her personality that was...
She works out, which I thought was a dumb characteristic because working out is not really a trait that is meaningful. You could work out and you could be a shitty person. I don't understand. Working out is just something you do to be healthy. It's not an indicator of anything else.
The thing I got from it was that he's upset that Becky doesn't work out with him.
Oh, you don't think Becky works out with him?
No.
Oh, he wanted Stephanie to be his gym buddy.
Yes, a gym buddy just working up a sweat between the sheets.
Going into this, Becky is a little bit apprehensive because she doesn't think Yary read the description of what they're looking for in a partner. She doesn't think Yary is down with their "we want you to be a polygamist with us" aspect.
Yeah, she didn't know what she was getting into kind of thing.
Again, Justin says this is the second date he's had with Yary, but he does say that during the first date, he didn't tell her that he had a wife until the end of that first date.
These two, the Ryans, they seem to have
this pattern of
blindsiding people.
Oh yeah, our nicknames for the Ryans were the Blindside kids. First, they surprise Desiree. The first woman that they tried to hit on at the bar.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about her. Yeah, they blindsided her.
And then they went after Stephanie after she explicitly told them not to come.
Mm-hmm.
And now they go on this date with this woman where Justin doesn't even reveal what he wants in a relationship until the very end.
Yeah, also, there was a fun little tidbit that we discovered concerning the polygamist dating apps, which are, according to Justin, 100 people searching for sister wife to every woman trying to become a sister wife, which sounds about right.
No wonder they weren't successful. They should ask Garrick for some pointers.
He would probably say, you need to hire as many friends and family as possible and go to third world countries.
If only everyone can be that wealthy.
Or just completely in your own world.
Becky says Yary seems to be very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming she's referring to the fact that Yary likes to doll herself up. She has the nails, she has the makeup.
The Instagram filters.
Mm-hmm. More so than Becky. Maybe that's why she had to point that out.
Mm-hmm.
They say how long they've known this woman. So they've only been dating Yary for 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, one time.
As they talk to the barber and they get into the topic of polygamy, they discover that he too is a polygamist in his own way.
Yes.
He has 2 partners. One is also living in Texas and the other one is in New Jersey. I'm going to assume that both of his partners are men.
I mean, possibly, yeah.
And this is more like a polyamory situation.
Yeah, there's no hierarchy or structure involved in this.
I don't think Becky's expression really made it seem as if she was happy to hear that the barber was a polygamist too.
Yeah, it kind of felt like, well, I'm doing this because of God. You're doing this because you're a sinful, sinful man. Anyway, that was just my impression.
The haircut looks like it took about 4 minutes and it looks exactly the same as it did in the beginning.
I'm not convinced that there was a haircut that took place. It could have just been a combing.
So in the next scene, Becky is helping Justin get his wardrobe together for his outing with Yary. Becky says to him, "You gotta wow her." And then Becky says, "There isn't going to be any intimacy or anything, right?" I think they meant kissing, or I guess French kissing.
It's weird because so far in these shows, intimacy has been code word for
sex. That confused me because from a couple episodes ago, I thought by Becky's accusation that she directed to Stephanie of whether or not she was sleeping with Greg at the same time she was with them implied that Stephanie was also sleeping with Justin.
Yeah, but I mean, who would expect somebody to sleep with Justin on a second date?
I mean, that's really fast, if that's the case.
I mean, maybe that's why he wanted to look her up, even though it was on a non-polygamy dating app.
While he's putting on his socks or something, he does the thing where he impersonates the person he's paraphrasing. He does that with Yara. He says, "No, I never have my dates come pick me up at home." He's literally making his voice more high-pitched, which I usually equate that to someone trying to make fun of somebody else.
Oh, he's absolutely doing that. He does not like this.
Because he did that with Greg. I'm assuming that he's a little bit annoyed because he, as a masculine man, expects that he should be the one to pick her up from her house.
We're in a day and age where you meet up with people that you met using an app on your cell phone, and you're a woman, and we find out she's a single mother. You're not going to just invite strange men to your house and then tell them later, "Oh, I don't want to have sex with you."
Try to think of what position she's in.
I know, but he's just pissed because he's thinking, "Oh, but what about my manliness? Don't you remember the 50s? I don't. I wasn't alive then, but..."
Again, Yari's just trying to protect herself. Calm down. And by the way, in their bedroom, there is a calendar on the dresser that says that it is August 24. Keep that in mind.
Also, another thought that just occurred to me. We know for a fact that Justin is the type of person who would come to your house if you tried to break up with him.
Oh, yeah. Good thing Yary is the kind to plan ahead. For the blindside kids.
Oh, the blindside kids, you know, they're gonna blindside her somehow.
They go to a restaurant. They're on the outdoor patio.
Justin.
Yes, Justin and Yary.
Not Becky.
Not Becky. Becky is not invited to this one-on-one date.
No, she's alone in that bedroom feeling sad.
So the both of them start up some conversation. They talk about their families. Yary asks him how many kids he has, which I was surprised that didn't come up in the first date. But he tells her he and Becky have 6 kids. They've been together since they were 16 and 19. Yary is a little overwhelmed by the number or just by how long they were together. And she herself says that she's a mother. I think she has 1 son, but she is obviously divorced.
The whole date was very awkward and hard to watch.
Throughout their entire conversation, Yary does express that she is worried how Becky is feeling. I think she's worried that she's intruding upon something that she shouldn't get involved in. And then Justin says he doesn't think Yary is totally going to understand their point of view until she gets to talk to Becky.
Being a polygamist man is such a red flag. Does it really matter how Becky feels?
Yeah, because if you're a polygamist, that already sets off the fact that you are a narcissist. You think that you can hold together multiple women and satisfy their emotional, spiritual, physical, mental needs. And if you don't think that you're going to be able to do that and they should put their egos aside for the benefit of you, then again, that's a red flag.
Another aspect is you, the woman, has to be okay with this man that you're supposed to be hot for having sex with another woman. What kind of woman comes in this and says, "Oh boy, I'm totally willing to do this, but if he hurts his wife, I'm going to feel so bad about it. No, it's bad. It's bad. What does it matter what Becky thinks?
I don't know what Justin expects.
That could be the name of the show. I don't know what these people expect.
So the date ends and Justin goes to walk Yary over to her car. And so as they're about to part ways, he tries to get her to kiss him. I don't think she wanted to do that. She first has him kiss her on the cheek. Then he makes her kiss him on the lips. His big ol' lips.
It didn't have pleasant energy, that's for sure.
Justin has to point out while he's kissing her that she doesn't want to use tongue.
Oh, what's that? You don't want to use tongue? What, you don't like it when I talk like this? It turns you off and makes... You want to call the police? That's so hot. Starts talking like that.
And Yary does say that on-camera kiss was her first kiss with Justin.
And that it was good.
I don't know what Yary's deal is. Is her standard so low that she's dating men like him?
Maybe this is just something that we're projecting on these women, but it definitely feels like there's a sense of a deep and abiding desperation in these women. Maybe things are going really, really bad and they need a big fish-lipped man to take care of them or something, because it doesn't make sense. Is it because of the TV show? Is she getting...
I don't know.
Do they get paid for being on the TV show?
I don't think so. So the Ryans are, to us, the blindside kids, but the show is about to do their own blindsidedness to us.
With the Sherwoods?
Yes. And I would like to preface the Sherwood segment with an apology. At the end of our last recap, I said that I didn't want to see sad boy Shane crying, because I assumed he was crying because he was worried that Ashley was going to be stolen away by Sarah.
That wasn't an assumption. That's what the deceptive editing led us to believe.
It turns out he is not crying for that, as we'll get into.
Yes, the editing was a lie.
So, apologies to the Sherwoods. Well, they alluded to Shane's condition when he was driving home from their date with Grace.
Oh, they knew. They knew. They did this. They withheld information to create drama.
I don't think the Sherwoods are boring in that aspect. And it's okay to cry, Shane, for that reason that we will get into.
The show is a lying liar that lies.
Shane's segment starts off with him meeting up with an axe-throwing friend, Charlie, because I think he had another friend who was a beer pong friend?
Beer pong woman, yeah.
That was the woman he was meeting with in their backyard while he was cleaning their pool.
Charlie, by the way, easily the best person on this show. As a moral person, he's 3 rungs higher than the next one. He's a stand-up guy compared to all of this weirdo trash people. Anyway, I like Charlie.
Shane is going to discuss with Charlie the insane amount of information that's going on in his dating life and health life. He talks about the last couple of dates he's been on, specifically the ones that Ashley has been on, her solo date with Sarah and then their 2-on-1 date with Sarah. He does say that he's been feeling uncomfortable whenever he does see them flirting.
Mm-hmm.
But he backtracks on that, saying he is happy to see Ashley happy.
He's certainly conflicted in any case.
Yeah, that's true. He is back and forth about whether seeking a sister wife is a positive. Then he talks about Sarah as a person. He doesn't think she's a good candidate for them because of her non-committance to couples that she's dated. He then accuses her of not reaching out to them, not taking the initiative. And I was thinking to myself, how long has it been since their last date? Because, I don't know, I thought it was weird for him to tell her that she's not taking the initiative unless it's been several weeks since they've been out on a date and maybe she's not had any contact with them since.
Yeah.
Like a good friend, Charlie validates Shane's concerns because a big factor that's making Shane worry is the fact that some of these women might only be pining for a relationship because they want Ashley, which confused me, as we'll get into later.
Yes.
He does reveal that he has or had renal cancer.
A touch of it.
Yeah, he says he had a touch of cancer. He did have a partial nephrectomy. Nephrectomy?
Yeah, nephrectomy.
Where they took out a part of his kidney, which is obviously the part that had cancer. And he's due for another scan that he's been pushing off because fear.
Yeah, he's anxious about it.
And all of this happened last year around the same time they decided to start seeking a sister wife.
So yes, we find out that just as we had postulated last time, he thinks he's dying and he wants to find
a partner for Ashley to depend on.
Which you could have told us that at the beginning and it would have been a lot more interesting and less boring with these two. We would have given them so much more credit and we wouldn't have made fun of sad boy Shane because that sounds terrible now.
Yeah, Shane did confuse me because he does say that he's worried these women are going to steal Ashley away. And I'm thinking to myself, but the Grim Reaper is going to take you away from Ashley. Why does it matter if these women are going to steal her away? Unless he's just worried about being jealous while he's still alive and the woman is married to Ashley.
More questions. Another one is, they told us earlier in the season that the plan was that Shane would impregnate this woman.
Yes, Ashley wanted this person to have biological children with him.
So that they could have a child with Shane before he dies.
So that after he passes, they can just be a typical lesbian couple who already have their children.
Yes. Also, suddenly, this makes things make a lot more sense with the women who didn't think they'd have to stick around with Shane.
Oh. So I guess Grace was okay to think she didn't have to be in on this arrangement.
Yes. And one more thing. Currently, Shane is cancer-free.
But he predicts it'll come back eventually, and it might not turn out the same way it did when he got the partial nephrectomy the first time.
But he is supposed to be having early testing, and so I really don't think that that's a death sentence.
They already made it seem like he was about to die. It does seem like he has a good prognosis so far. I think that they're, what's the word, counting their eggs before they're hatched?
Yeah, they're killing their husbands before they die?
No. You know what I mean.
Yes, I know, but what I mean is, I don't think Shane is dying. He just has a predisposition for kidney cancer, and you can live with one kidney. Hell, you can live with no kidneys.
Well, you'd have to go through dialysis, right? That's not...
But that's still living. Bill's mom has to do dialysis.
Oh, yeah.
That's still living. You don't just die because you have to do dialysis. It's not pleasant, but it's certainly not a
death sentence.
Yes, which raises even more questions.
Back to the conversation.
Yes.
Charlie says that he's going to be there if Shane needs him, and that's when Shane starts crying, which was the clip we saw in last week's preview of the next episode.
Yeah.
Where we were making fun of Shane, and I'm like, oh wait, these are not sad boy Shane tears. These are positive, masculine relationship tears.
Yes, his friend told him that it would be okay if he needed a friend to complain about how it's not fair, and...
It was positive affirmation.
And yet, the stupid liar show told us that it was sad tears, because Ashley wants sex with woman. Sad tears. No! This was a catharsis from a man who thinks he's dying.
Editors are being annoying.
Annoying, they're bags.
We do see Shane walk off into the cityscape in the dark.
While crying. I thought it was interesting. I think he probably could have stuck around a little bit beforehand, but maybe they thought it would be more dramatic.
Yeah. The next segment is when Shane is talking to his wife about his meeting with Charlie. As they talk about Shane's diagnosis, Ashley is crying a lot, understandably. Shane does say that he's fearful. He's been pushing off this screening for a reason. But, of course, we have to go back to the plot line of them seeking a sister wife, or a wife.
This isn't a couple dealing with cancer. This is seeking sister wife.
And Ashley does say that she's looking forward to seeing Sarah again. They're looking for a more serious conversation of where she stands. And then Shane says that he hopes Sarah is going to be that person that Ashley will feel safe if he is not in this world anymore.
We thought the kid looked a lot like Shane.
Their son looked...
It's in the eyes.
...a lot like their father. Anyways, I don't know what to say about that. That was just really sad.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't be on this show.
Yeah, one, because they don't fit the premise.
I had a friend whose wife they thought might have cancer, and she wanted to start dating women for him to marry after she died. She turned out not to have cancer. She was fine.
I don't know if she did that as a joke.
No, she was way serious. But at no point in time did she state that she needed to have sex with the new wife. So, again, super weird.
Or he had to have sex with the new wife?
I'm talking about...
Okay.
That's wild. Why would he need to have sex with the new wife?
I don't know. Maybe just to add more children?
You'd think that they could put this off until he was actually dying, and then they could just get normal women. So it doesn't seem as clear-cut as they say it is.
So now we transition from a couple whose circumstances are confusing to another couple whose circumstances are confusing because they are crazy. We segue to the Merrifields.
There was dramatic reveals in this one, but mostly it just made me feel gross.
Okay, so Danielle is in her room, her and Garrick's room, and in the background, the camera people made sure to get a good shot of their little wedding plaque. It was wooden with an engraving on it that said, "So I will submit myself unto thee and obey the words of thy mouth. My heart I give you this day, for my God has kept me for thee. Danielle and Garrick," and couldn't really read the last part. I think maybe that was the year they got married. I decided to look that up because there was no Bible verse that came after it. And I found out that those words didn't come from a Bible.
No, I didn't recognize those words at all.
So this was something Garrick made up because the words seem to be trying to mimic what a Bible sounds like. They say the words unto.
The thee and the thou.
Yes, but they don't say the words hath. They use has instead.
And they say will instead of shall.
It's, again, the making up stuff that might come from a Bible that is so typical of Garrick.
Yeah, it definitely came out of Garrick's mouth. You can tell because it has, I don't even want to say Bible feel, because it's not accurate Bible-ness, but it feels like Temu brand Bible. And you know it came out of his mouth, and you know that Danielle thought, oh gosh, that's so true. It feels like holiness. When I was in high school, my math teacher, absolute devout atheist, told us that one of the easiest way to manipulate Christian people is to say things using Bible-y words. And they will feel like those words have more authority now because they're old-timey. And that's what I felt when I saw this.
I think this is something we said in a previous recap, where being a cult leader is not about trying to be convincing or charming. It's to find a bunch of dummies that will be that gullible to fall for whatever it is you say. And whatever Garrick says, Danielle's gonna go, oh, my fearless protector.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. Because, yeah, this thing that it says, so I will submit myself to the words of your mouth, it basically means I will do the things you tell me to do.
And that has rung true. Before all that, because we saw that in the coming up, there is another black screen with white text that says, It's been 2 months since Garrick proposed to Natalia. 6 weeks ago, Garrick left for Brazil to spend time with her.
Have they done this thing before? This time jump with a message before?
The last time they did a black and white message was when they thought Natalia wasn't going to come over to Mexico because her flight was delayed.
It just feels overly dramatic.
Obviously, what caught our eye is the timeline because Garrick's been in Brazil for 6 weeks. That is over the month time slot that he was supposed to stay in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we see Danielle packing up a suitcase because she's about to go head to Rio. She says that she feels after the engagement and these past couple of months, she can definitely feel Natalia's focus has shifted. She's not into a sister-wife relationship anymore. She's just focusing on Garrick now. Samantha visits.
Because they needed to film something, so they get Samantha to come by.
I think this is where Danielle tries to explain why Garrick is 2 weeks overdue on his Brazil stay.
Mm-hmm.
She says that she and Garrick have not been in a good place, and she says that they've taken some time to be apart for some much-needed soul-searching. I don't know if this was during his stay, and that's why he decided to just be in Rio longer, or if plans have changed and he's just going to stay there the whole summer.
I don't know. Nobody can tell Garrick what to do except for divine providence.
Which is his. And then this is where Samantha, the sister-in-law, chimes in, saying there's been times when Garrick has called to come stay over at her and Sam's house because of his marital issues with Danielle. She goes into their walk-in closet and playfully picks out a dress that she thinks will be some good wardrobe for her stay in Rio. And that's when Danielle reveals her big announcement as to why she has called Samantha over. She says she will not be able to bring that sort of dress because she will not be able to fit into it because she is pregnant.
And it's all extremely believable and not at all planned.
That's not what Samantha says. She says it wasn't planned.
Yeah. I'm totally didn't come over here to film this. No, I just came over here to help my sister-in-law pack a bag for a trip she doesn't intend on going on.
Yeah, very sus.
She didn't need to pack her bag, and she didn't need help packing her bag, because who needs help packing their bag?
Yeah, nobody.
Okay. Also, another thing. So she says that she's pregnant. The timing of this is extremely convenient. She would have had to have gotten pregnant just before the 6 weeks bit, right?
I don't know how far along Danielle is.
That's true, but I also know that these two people, Garrick and Danielle, are social media whores.
Yes.
I think that they might be playing it up for the camera.
What do you mean?
I think that there's a possibility
That they were planning to be pregnant?
yes, and that this was just drama that keeps them on the show. What family is in every single episode? Which are the ones that have all of the social media and presence and all that stuff?
It just seems weird that they're having kids again, because they have 2 boys. One's almost a teenager or is a teenager. That's a huge gap between the last one and the one coming now. That's a big sacrifice to just have a kid for a storyline.
I don't know. I've seen people do crazier things for social media stuff. This is just my conspiracy theory brain going. Feel free to ignore it, but it's cooking in there.
If that is the case, Garrick is certainly not surprised, or he doesn't act like it.
That's because he doesn't have facial expressions. They couldn't fit animations for his face into the budget.
Oh boy. We'll get to that part. Samantha asked Danielle, how did Garrick react to this news? And Danielle says he doesn't know yet. A reason why he doesn't know yet is because they're still not in a good place. I guess that separation in between, which just so happens to coincide with his vacation down in Brazil.
Vacation?
I think someone on Reddit said that.
Okay, good. I like that a lot.
Danielle is worried she's going to be a single parent because Garrick might never come back, which I don't think that will be the case because...
All of his stuff is in the U.S.
Yeah, and that would require that he learn Portuguese. That's something he's never going to do. He ain't gonna live in a foreign country.
Also, he'd have to give up on his...
Construction business?
I was going to say his Power Rangers.
Oh, the Planeteers.
Yeah.
His women of every race, 5 wives.
Yeah, his super friends of racial unity.
Oh, and then Samantha says something stupid. She says maybe this baby will bring them closer together.
Ha. Ha. Reminds me of the line from Jim Gaffigan where he says that having another baby when you have marital issues is like being in a fire and somebody hands you a baby.
You're just already in a precarious situation, and now you have another human to deal with. Danielle does say that along with her pregnancy, she is also having to deal with Garrick's shenanigans. She does say that he and Natalia are planning to get married this week. That is the tentative plan.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Danielle is apprehensive about the wedding in general because she's not 100% on Natalia coming into the family or being with Garrick, because it doesn't seem Natalia has any interest in forming a friendship with her. She says, I feel like an outsider. There's a possibility I could be doing this on my own.
Sad.
We get to the genuinely sad part of their segment. Danielle eventually FaceTimes Garrick.
If there's any point in the show where you were thinking to yourself, you know what, I don't think it's plausible that Garrick might be a lizard person, watch this scene.
So they show a point of view of her phone, and her contact name for Garrick is My Beloved Protector, Garrick.
Beloved Protector. What does she need protection from?
He protects her from having a stable relationship with her husband. Because that title for him is not at all creepy.
It really doesn't make any sense. Out of all the things, protector makes her sound like she's afraid of things.
Or that she's just incapable of handling life on her own, so she has to depend on him for everything. I mean, her parents have to depend on him for housing. We see him in his usual attire of a black tank top. He says that he's just got back from the beach. Just living it up down in Rio. Danielle says she doesn't want to go to Brazil. At this point, Natalia is shopping for a wedding dress. He just says to his wife that he's annoyed about the bureaucracy. I'm assuming he means the laws of the land that is getting in between him and divine providence.
That stand between him and his divine right to bang.
Then again, maybe he doesn't need bureaucracy, because as we've learned from Garrick's Bible, he just needs to have sex with Natalia in order for them to be married. Again, Danielle reiterates that she doesn't think that she'll be able to go. She says that she believes Natalia doesn't even want her there, and Danielle and Garrick aren't even in a good place, so why would she even want to fly there? And this is when she announces her news, which I think Garrick genuinely didn't know about this.
Yeah, probably, but he certainly didn't react like a normal human being would.
That's typical of him. She does give him the news that they are having a third child, and for a second, I thought their phone glitched out because it was frozen for a while, except for him blinking.
What was happening was ChatGPT was trying to come up with the answer.
And ChatGPT goes, "Children are a blessing from God."
And I like God, so yeah.
But seriously, Garrick probably did not like this kind of news. He was probably thinking, this was so not in my vision for the future. I did not expect any more babies except biracial, half Brazilian babies or half French babies or whoever else I wanted to have glorify my name. When they were in Cancun and he was seeing Natalia shower, he was saying, "Oh, she's so beautiful. Any man would be so lucky to have her. We'd make some beautiful children together."
Garrick is delusional. He's got weird thoughts of grandeur. It's creepy.
Anyways, he was displeased, which made me happy. Danielle says that she doesn't want to be a third wheel.
I hope the kid's okay.
The baby?
Yeah, the baby.
Because the mom is stressed.
And the father's
Mm-hmm. And then Garrick ignores this. He just says, you need to come or else we're going to hurt Natalia's feelings. Again, only thinking of
himself. And he knows that if Natalia's upset, it's going to make his life harder.
Mm-hmm. Because he can just steamroll Danielle. She'll submit herself unto me.
To me.
And obey the words of my mouth. He ends the conversation in the worst way possible. He just says, I'll call you in a couple of days.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow, you mean? That's what you mean. Yeah, tomorrow. Click.
Like, why so long? What are you doing besides hanging out on the beach? Your wife is alone by herself, pregnant with your child.
Who do you think you are, Cody Brown?
No, he a polygamist, which is exactly the kind of behavior we expected from him.
Why do we keep giving these people TV shows?
We just want to give you more of a paycheck, Cody, or Garrick, or whatever.
Oh,
Please, take our money. I know, we're one of those people, because obviously we're watching their darn show.
I hate you, Cody Brown. Do you accept checks?
So we should be the ones talking.
No, I'm not going to watch Sister Wives.
McKelty does say that it's going to have a spring premiere. She did this with her nose when someone asked specifically about the timeline.
I think that's still considered breaking an NDA.
Yeah?
Yeah, touching your nose is not legally different than nodding.
Well, that's her problem if she gets sued by TLC.
Hopefully.
Maybe that'll get her to chill out. So we move on to the last family, which for the third episode in a row had nothing going on. The Davises are all together again. They're making s'mores in their backyard. April affirms to the cameras that Danielle gave them permission to start dating again. So they're going to run with it.
I don't think anyone actually believes Danielle, though.
I don't know if Nick does.
It's not going to stop him, though.
They tell Nick about their date at the Smash Room, not to be confused with the Boom Boom Room.
The Smash Room. That's a good name for it, though.
Then Nick says, my current wives are the ones who seek out potentials, but I still want to check in with Danielle. Danielle, who is not really a good actress, says she's fine with it as long as she takes the time to debrief after each date with the potential sister wife.
And then immediately afterwards says, I don't want to do this. Please help me.
And not so many words. She doesn't say that, but she says, I'm ready to get married and find a wife of my own.
I'm terrified. I'm so scared. I don't want to do this. She's finally bringing up the bit about the legal marriage thing, and it makes it even more creepy. It's one thing to be saying, oh, I am scared that they're going to bring another wife in for Nick. It's another thing entirely to say, oh, I'm afraid they're going to bring in a wife for me.
Yeah, because when Nick said he's definitely excited to be finding a wife for Danielle, not for him, it sounded like they were planning an arranged marriage.
It's like, time out here. Time out. This is not what we agreed to. We're almost out of batteries.
Let me change that then. Oh.
No wonder Danielle wanted to leave. It sounds scary. Again, I still don't understand what any of these people get out of this situation.
I wish the wives would better explain the purpose of what this collective is.
Also, the bit about men are a menace to society from the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like maybe this is a home for women who want to reproduce but don't want to have to deal with men somehow. I don't know.
They have a teenage son, wherever he is. I don't know.
Is it a financial thing?
Again, do they just want friends? Alienation epidemic.
Oh my gosh.
So that is the end of the episode.
Oh, thankfully. I think there's a clear theme in this episode, which was being blindsided.
Well, the title was Seeking the Unexpected.
With the Ryans, they blindsided Yary by informing her that they actually were polygamists all along, and
She just needed to play along with them.
And then we have Shane, who the show blindsides us by informing us that cancer is an important factor in their relationship. Could have told us that earlier. Then we have the Merrifields, where Danielle blindsides Garrick by informing him that she's pregnant. The Davises, we are blindsided by the admission that it's all about trying to find a wife for Danielle.
And the show's a lying liar that lies. Well, it was in the preview. They talk more with Sarah.
Yes, I remember Sarah.
Nyla and Naeem talk to their failed polygamist friends, who are also Muslim.
It might have been something else, but it wasn't memorable.
Because last week I thought the Shane segment was boring. Going into next week, I'm about to say the Sarah scenes are boring.
I'm sure at that point it's going to be the most interesting thing ever. We're going to find out that she's actually the displaced monarch of a small European country. And suddenly everything's going to become wacky, crazy, wild. Or it'll all just be boring again.
I like this episode. It was very interesting, unlike the past 7 ones.
Just because it's interesting doesn't make it entertaining.
Okay. So that's it for the recap. Thanks for making it to the end. Here's Morty, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Good boy, Marty.
Very good boy.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't scratching at the door.
No, he was a boy. All right, let's do this. All right, opposite reasons. Okay, how was that, Bear?
I liked
Do you
it.
feel better?
Yes.
Okay.
God, these people are crazy.